What's happening, everybody around the world, around the planet Earth? Greetings from New York City, in the United States, on the planet Earth, in the Andromeda system. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. It is Sunday Shout Out Day. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Spaghetti Lee? What's up, Rat Bones? I see you out there. What's happening in Leeds? What's happening in the UK, man? Holding it down. Everybody's excited. What's up, Lenny? What's going on in Queens, bro? Chris Hoffman, Ryan. What's up, Gregor? What's up in Scotland, man? I hope you're keeping my girls in check in Scotland, bro. What up, Alan? Good to see everybody. Very excited about today's show. I hope you are too. Of course, we are the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, The Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, and, of course, Generation Records. That said, let me see. Yep, Metal Up. Yo, what's happening in Corpus Christi, Texas, Arnolfo? There you go. It is thrash time. It absolutely is. Let's bring on the Hardcore Shutterbug. Let's get right to it. What's going on? What's up?
Sweating.
You're working today on a Sunday?
Yeah, it's overtime today. I'm at West Side Yard today in the city.
West Side.
So, I don't know how to make my gang sign there.
Is that why you made it? Is that why you said that thing before? Like, I could kill a man for a coffee right now? What was that? Here is something you can't understand. Oh, I can kill a man.
Cypress Hill, man.
Yeah, man.
No, it's just hot. It's just oppressively humid.
Yeah.
But you know what? Humidity tastes good at time and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hot in New York. We're in New York.
That's
man.
it. I'm hot, you're hot, he's hot, she's hot.
It's a hot world.
That David Johansen song, Hot, Hot, Hot.
Or the Rolling Stones song, She Was Hot.
That's a good one too, yeah.
Is that time and a half or double time, Lenny wants to know?
Time and a half.
Right.
If the shift, your third shift following your first shift is double time.
Do they have golden in the film business? In the film business, there's golden time.
That's when you've gone like past what, like 24 hours or something?
Some shit like that, yeah. Yep.
That's similar to double time, I guess. That's probably like triple time.
And then there's hazard duty. I remember that.
Yeah, well, we get during snowstorms and stuff when they can't say no, like when it's so bad that the next shift can't even make it into work.
Oh, I see.
So they just keep everybody.
Right.
That's when this happens. So
that's when this happens.
They call that white gold.
Hey, what do I know? What do I know? I do an internet talk show these days. Hey, let's do photo of the day.
Photo of the day.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, all around the world. This is wrong answers only, please. Here we go. This is photo of the day. Boom. There you go. Photo of the day. Let's hear it go. Come on. Here we go. Yes, medal time. All right. Heat wave in Canada. Let's get off the weather, you clowns. Is it the Ramones? All right. Is it Cypress Hill? Is it Cypress Hill? Is it The Cure? That's a good one, actually. Is it The Cure? Is it Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
Is it the Melvins?
Love the Melvins.
Is it Zappa?
Never got to see Zappa.
Is it Vic Tayback and the Floettes? Kind of funny. Is it the gluten-free motherfuckers? Frank, who thinks that's Frank Zappa? Jesus.
Not me.
Is it the Plastic Ono Band?
Oh no.
Is it Slayer? Is it Fish? Oh God.
Nah, not on my camera. It's not.
Listen, I gotta say, I'm not a big Fish fan, man. That's
nor am I.
I saw them play, and I thought they were pretty brutal. But Is it at the drive-thru?
Did he mean at the drive-in?
Blotto, that's a good one. Wow. You know something? I gotta say,
Blotto.
Blotto is one of the first bands I saw as a very young teenager sneaking into clubs in New York City, a place called Trax on 72nd Street when I was like 15 years old. We snuck into Trax and Blotto played. I'll never forget it. And they did that song,
I want to be a lifeguard.
I want to be a lifeguard, lifeguard.
Lifeguard.
I want to guard your life. Yeah.
I remember them. And they had a song called Metalhead.
Yep, that's right. Is it Joe Cocker?
That's funny. Yeah.
Now, you sent me another one of these, right?
I did.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't want to... Okay. Here's the whole band. And then let's do right answers only, please. Here we go. Right answers only, please. Let's go.
Oh, there you go.
Here we go. Right answers only, please. Is it the Jay Giles Band? Is it Danny Lilker?
Huh.
Is it the Reformed SSD? Is it Bad Religion? Come on, you knuckleheads. Let's get it. Let's get it straight. Is it the MC50?
Who said that?
Larry Kelly. Is it the
Kelly.
MC5? Is it the MC5? Is it Soundgarden? Is it the MC5? Is it the MC5?
I think Larry Kelly gets the big stuffed bear today.
Go ahead. Here, I'll put up another one as you're talking. Go ahead.
This is the MC50. This was the 50th anniversary of the MC5. This took place in September 2018. And I went to both nights. It was the Paramount in Huntington and Irving Plaza in New York City. And the lineup of this band is pretty spectacular. It's obviously Brother Wayne Kramer on guitar, who might be the only survivor of the original lineup. Kim Thayil from Soundgarden on guitar. Billy Gould from Faith No More on bass. And Brendan Canty from Fugazi on drums. And the cool thing...
Wow, they got a Fugazi guy in there, huh?
Yeah, how crazy is that? A little hardcore crossover here. And originally, when they first announced it, Doug Pinnick from King's X was going to be playing bass.
Wow.
And they even did band photos and everything, but he just didn't gel with them from what I heard. And they got Billy Gould from Faith No More. So you have Soundgarden, Faith No More, Fugazi, this crazy lineup. And it was such a... Oh, and I'm sorry. And the singer is from a band called the Zen Gorillas.
Yeah,
and,
that I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he was... And he's even got the big haircut like Rob Tynan, and just a tremendous show, though. I mean, they had so much energy, and you could tell how much fun those guys were having playing those songs,
Right on.
And kick out the jams. I mean, this is like, this is back in the pre-punk days of like the Stooges and MC5 and,
of course,
early,
the MC5, the MC5 are like... Absolutely. The Stooges, MC5, the Velvet Underground. That's like the building blocks of...
Oh, for sure.
Of crappy punk rock.
They didn't have not one corny Unity song.
I love corny Unity songs.
That's right.
All right. Well, cool.
But great shows. And it was really cool. And just those guys, it's really cool when you see guys from these bigger bands playing the music that influenced them and just like tearing it up,
Absolutely.
It's very cool.
All right.
I got to tell you.
Go ahead.
Today, this is a big one to me from my absolute beginnings of my youth. This is a hugely important person in the shaping of the music that I love. So I'm just really thrilled to have him on today. That's just wanted to say that.
I'll bring you back on so towards the end and we'll interact.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely honored myself that he's coming on. So
yeah, this is a really tremendous person in the field of heavy music. So
cool. We'll see you a little bit.
Yes.
You did good.
You did good.
I hear you. All right, buddy. I'll see you in a bit. All right, kids, what's happening? This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, and the Gutierrez Brothers in Corpus Christi, Texas. What's up? I know you guys are watching. Located in Corpus Christi, Texas, Chacho's Tacos opened their doors in 2001, home of the almighty Chacho's Taco. They cook up an incredible home-style Tex-Mex food, and this month they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. They've been supporting underground music since the beginning, and in their own words, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Touring bands that play Corpus Christi swing by and get a home-cooked meal at Chacho's Tacos. We got you. The underground scene will never die. Please follow us on Facebook or on Instagram. Also, while we're at it, how about Vlad and Organic Grill? It's a vegan restaurant located in East Village of New York City at 123 First Avenue, featured in New York Magazine, the New York Times, and, of course, Veg News. Their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, burger patties, and every dish on their menu can be made gluten-free for all you gluten-free motherfuckers. This year, they're celebrating their 20th anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. After 3 months of being closed, they're now open for deliveries. Get in touch with them and order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. That said, let's get right to it, huh? Let's bring our guest on. We make sure everybody's behaving themselves. Everybody's good in there. Nobody's killing each other. Okay, good. Here we go. Today's guest is an entrepreneur and author hailing from the Bronx in New York City. He is known as the former owner of the legendary record store Rock and Roll Heaven and founder of the label Megaforce Records. He and his wife Marsha were instrumental in building and establishing the careers of Anthrax, Raven, Testament, King's X, and of course, Metallica, and many others. His autobiography, which I just read, is now out, called Heavy Tales. Please welcome, coming at us from Orlando in the Sunshine State of Florida, Mr. Johnny Z. Brother!
How you doing? What's up, Drew?
Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming on. We're all very excited.
Cool.
Hey, let's jump right into it. How did you come up? Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in a musical household?
Well, I grew up in a musical household. My father played the accordion. He played the piano. In fact, he used to make money playing piano at the silent movies.
Oh, wow.
That's what he used to do. And he played at old, nursing homes and things like that. And when we were young, the first thing we were handed was an accordion. So we had accordion music up through maybe 5 years old. And at 5 and 6, it became basically the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And everybody was into the whole British scene, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Dave Clark Five. That's when I was a model for Saks Fifth Avenue when I was a little one. And of course, there's a guitar in my hand and a pompadour, a DA my mother would give me because she was totally into the rock scene, But
where in the Bronx did you grow up? Like what area of the Bronx?
I grew up in the Eastchester Projects.
Oh, wow.
They were down on Burke Avenue and near Gun Hill Road.
Sure.
I wouldn't take a stroll there tonight if you want to make it to your destination.
Yeah.
But it was just like that when I grew up too. You basically never knew if you were going to make it anywhere. You had to escape from everybody constantly.
Was that what if you were taking a subway, would you take was that the 6 train to the end, the 4 or the 6 from there, and then had to take a bus? What
No,
was the
you
last
took the train, the number 5.
Ah, the 5, right.
To Dyer Avenue.
Got it.
You got off at Gun Hill Road and then you walked a mile.
Got it.
That's how it was. And when it rained, I met my father all the time, a mile away with an umbrella, and we go back home together. Maybe I get a pack of baseball cards or something out of the deal,
Well, the Bronx was it was a different world back then,
I wouldn't trade it in. I grew up basically living and surviving in the Bronx. You know what?
Mm.
What can I say, man? It was beautiful and it was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, there was no middle. You know, you lived the life and you enjoyed yourself. The people in the Bronx who were great. Well, you had to survive getting there. And I'll tell you something. It was very scary reaching a destination in those days. Very
Well,
scary.
I as a teenager, I grew up in the Spite and Dival section of the Bronx, which is at the end of the one train, and you know, in the late and you got a couple years on me, but riding the subway in the 70s to the last stop in the Bronx was a pretty scary situation to be in, you know?
Oh yeah, but I liked your area.
Yeah,
Your
it was
area
nice.
your area was like Israel, and my area was like Iran. You know, I mean that's the difference between neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I used to go to your neighborhood for peace and leave my neighborhood to avoid the war.
There you go. What was the first music that came into your orbit, like that you remember?
Well, the very first music that ever came into my orbit was, of course, the Beatles, Frankie Valli, and the Four Seasons. But I was very hooked on Chubby Checker. I loved the twist, and I would twist around all day, all night, and just stand there and twist like a moron. But when I got my first money to buy a record, I went and I bought for Twisters Only for $3 and change at the record store, and that was my first album by Chubby Checker, and it didn't have the twist on it. I really felt ripped off. I said, "What is this?" And I realized at a very young age you could buy an album with 10 B-sides on it and not get what you're looking for. You better look at what you're buying. So that's why you could always read very well everything that was going on at Megaforce, because we wanted you to know exactly what was happening and what you were getting.
Yeah, absolutely. As a teenager, I know you left the home. I know you left home at a young age. You left home. Music was a big part of it. Tell us about leaving home and sort of really falling into the music world in the Lower East Side of New York.
Well, that was a crazy time, the time of Vietnam, the time when there were crash pads all over the Lower East Side. And it was very easy to, when you leave home, you know. You tell your parents, fuck you, and you walk out the door, and the door slams you in the back, and then you realize, where do you go to the bathroom? Where do you go for your medicine? Where do you go for your food? You have no money. What do you do? You know, you just slam the door in the back. So I had enough money to hang out with my friends and always make it down to the village. Down on Bleecker Street, there was a restaurant, and I used to go to that restaurant all the time to use the bathroom.
Wow. And
to sleep. There was a beautiful park all the way on the East Village called Tompkins Square Park.
We know it very well on this show. Tompkins Square Park is it's our beloved Tompkins. We know Tompkins Square Park very well. Yeah.
Well, I lived basically in and around the park.
Right.
That's what I basically did. And
now Tompkins Square Park back then, it was really sort of like the hippie park, right? That's where like Ginsberg and like they had like it was really the kind of hippie park.
It had a calling to you as a long-haired, leaping gnome. It had a calling to me, and it had a bench. I really didn't care what the park was if it had a bench.
Right.
And when it didn't have a bench, did the apartment have a mattress? And if the apartment had a mattress, did you find that it usually didn't come with springs? You know, this is the life, man, that you live as a runaway when you're young. And there's a lot of things that you end up doing that you do to survive as a runaway that you wouldn't have done either.
Sure.
But that was the life I lived. And as far as the music goes, it gave me the freedom to go to the Village Theater, which was pre the Fillmore, and see bands like The Cream, see people like Rich Havens when he first started at the Cafe Wah.
Wow.
You know, see Jimmy James and the Blue Flames at Jimi Hendrix at the Cafe.
Wow. There you go.
See the Lovin' Spoonful, you know, in the Village way back when it mattered who the Lovin' Spoonful were.
John Sebastian, right?
John Sebastian and others.
Hey, one of our people asking, did you Zappa? Did you see the Mothers back then?
I've seen the Mothers many times.
We love Zappa and the Mothers on this show, man.
Well, I loved, and Marsha or whoever I was with at the time loved the Mothers of Invention.
Yeah, I love them.
I saw them from the Garrick Theater.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. The Garrick Theater.
We saw them at the Village Theater. Then we saw them open up with groups like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I mean, the Mothers didn't care who they opened for. Frank would open for anybody. I think he gave him the money. He went into the show. He may have just wanted to connect with the audience. If the show connected with the audience, I think he wasn't afraid to do it. But I can't speak for a genius like Frank Zappa. But he seemed to be playing at a lot of shows where people were very appreciative of his music. And at the Fillmore and the Village Theater in downtown Village, he really experimented.
I know he did that run. He did like a month-long run at the Garrick Theater, right? 2 shows a day for a month.
I was lucky to catch one and the poster store next door.
That's great.
An amazing poster store next door.
Yeah.
That had great stuff. And I didn't know what I was watching then or anything then. I was just a pretty stoned hippie going to see somebody really cool called Frank Zappa.
But you were, but like a lot of us, you were inherently a lover of music.
I was always a lover of music. When I didn't move out of the house, I used to escape from the house and go to Brooklyn, all the way to Brooklyn, very far from the Bronx where I lived, to the other end of Brooklyn. And I would see a guy named Murray the K.
There you
who was
go.
like, he'd come out and go, ah, babe. The audience would go, whoa, ah, babe, whoa. The audience would go, go, sawa. And everybody would go, ah.
Were those was the Murray K? Were those the review shows where they would like run acts out there for like 10, like 6, 7 acts?
Yes.
Yeah.
See one to come out and do Fingertips,
Yeah.
and
Right.
another song, you know, and then you see the whole setup for Mitch Ryder and Detroit Wheels set up with all the horns and all the stands and everything. 2 songs, 3 songs off. But they had specials each day. Like I would go for like the Rascal afternoon.
There you
The
go.
Rascals would do 3 45-minute shows. And I'd go see them or the Miracles, you know, go do their show.
Them, of course, being Van Morrison, correct?
No, I didn't say them. I said them.
I thought you meant literally them.
No, I've never seen them, but of course I've seen Van Morrison several times as well. How could you not see Van Morrison if you grew up during that time?
Hey, you know what? One thing you bring up in the book that I enjoyed is you loved the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia, and you really connected with the Grateful Dead at the Fillmore. I assume you saw the Grateful Dead with Pigpen when he was in the band.
Oh, of course.
I'm a big Pigpen guy, man.
I've seen situations where Pigpen gave people coronary heart attacks.
Yeah, man.
He would get up and do Love Lights.
Yeah.
And he started talking about a man who should be at the show with a girl. And if you don't have a girl, you better get up here and let me get you some.
Yeah, I've heard so. Yeah.
You'd call up a guy, and then the big thing is the guy standing on stage, and this poor sucker's standing there, and he's tripping his balls off, and he's about to be attached to a girl. And then people will call up some girl, and then he'd get them to try to consummate it, you know?
Yeah, right there. I've heard some of those raps, like, "Hey, you, get your hands out of your pockets. Say hello to that girl, to the mama next to you." You know.
Well, stuff like that. And, and he did it with Janis Joplin. Janis and him have a version of Love Lights together.
Yeah.
But those were great days.
And you saw, and I took a couple notes from the book, but you said by the time I was 15, my interests changed, and it was the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, and LSD had become my biggest influences. Fillmore East, I saw Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, Cream, and the Jeff Beck Group.
These were my groups.
Incredible.
Now, the heavier side of music was Led Zeppelin, Jeff Beck Group, Cream. Beck, Bogart, a piece.
And a piece, yeah.
Those were the heavy sides of music. I even considered Vanilla Fudge back in time a heavy band. But the ones that I talk about in the book were my babies. And I would see Cream anytime they played, anywhere they played. Anything I could get near the Cream, I'd get near the Cream.
Wow.
The Grateful Dead, with Jerry, I can't imagine how many times I've seen him. I could tell you this, very little without. I saw that mug with the logo, brilliant. He's capitalized it on the logo. True stone. All right. So anyway, probably my biggest bragging experience is, though, seeing Stevie Wonder come out and do Fingertips.
Wow. Is that at a Murray the K show?
At a Murray the K show. Fingertips and one more song that's really was big back then that just came out, and oh my God, what was that? What was that? At such a young age? He was like 15, 16, I think.
Yeah.
And as far as Jerry goes in the Grateful Dead, people may not understand, how could you love the Grateful Dead? They're so boring compared to heavy metal. They're just so lackluster. But Grateful Dead were like going to church for me. And when Jerry Garcia and the boys lifted it up and got louder and turned up the volume and got heavy and deeper into a song, it was a total cosmic experience. And when Jerry looked you in the eyeballs and looked at you straight on, he used to beam you. Now everybody could say, he's crazy. What does he mean, beam? Red lights would come out of Jerry's eyes. Whoa! Hit you in yours, and you go, whoa!
Especially at the is this photo kind of appropriate for that era?
Maybe.
I love it, bro. You're winning. You're winning with that Jufro, brother. Winning.
Oh yeah. Oh
winning.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I have a much longer hair later on. It's on my website. There's a picture of me with much longer hair when I was living in Colorado.
Wow, that's
I didn't talk about that in the book. But I lived in Colorado for a while. I was one of the first hippies to settle in '71 and maybe buy some land.
Yeah, we're getting some action on the afro,
All right. Well, what can I say? I wish you had the other picture, though.
Best fro. Is that a perm?
No perms. I didn't.
No perm. We're Jewish guys. We don't need perms. Those are Jufros. That's how our hair looked when we grew it out as teenagers. The Juan Epstein. Someone said the Juan Epstein. Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to skip around a little bit, but let's take a big kind of jump. I know a lot went on. But eventually, you ended up opening up a. Explain to us what Rock and Roll Heaven was in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Explain to us how that kind of jumped off and what drew you to that.
If you don't mind me telling you, my father-in-law, Marsha's father, was helping support my family. We were having some very hard financial times. And he would give me $70 every weekend towards food. And I was very taken aback and insulted by that. So I said to Marsha, what can I do to make $70 a week extra to pay my food bill? And I came up with this idea that if I sell X amount of records in a weekend, plus the rent of a location and the cost of the holding of the records, displays, I may be able to make that $70 at least. So we took some records that were collectible for me, and we had $180 worth of new product. That's all we had and could afford. We set up Rock and Roll Heaven as a place where you could buy a 7-inch or 12-inch picture disc of bands where members have either died or the bands have expired. That was the purpose of Rock and Roll Heaven. In fact, our T-shirt that we sold, if you wore it into the store, you got 10% off anything you bought anytime. But
That's
on the
great.
back, dead people. And the store was flooded. The flea market, which is where the store was flooded on Saturday and Sunday with people wearing T-shirts, and nobody knew why, because this guy was giving it away.
Our friend Scott Earth from Silence Equals Death, the band out in Jersey, says, I had my brother bring me to Rock Roll Heaven for my 13th birthday. So it became a destination.
When Randy Rhoads died, you couldn't walk in the market past my store.
Wow.
It was the shrine for Randy. I mean, everybody was there to complain or cry or say this is too much and he was the greatest and this and that. You know, that's how jammed the store got. And it got jammed for Vinnie Vincent playing the guitar for Kiss, too. You know, and a lot of people came over for that. But that was the way it was. It was a shrine, and people came 500 miles. As much as 500 we were told to shop at our store. And our records, our tickets were for sale for some of our shows as far away as Staten Island. So
So you at a certain point you get acclimated to this new up and coming music, and I don't want to just say music because we always draw parallels to these things. You know, it's really it's a new movement. It's a scene. It's like we have the hardcore scene, we had the early thrash scene, and the early thrash community. And how did the thrash thing like get on your radar initially?
Well, you have to realize that I'm a big lover of foreground music and not a great lover of background music. I find most music to be background music, but heavy metal I consider foreground music. The music that is great to cause a response. It causes an answer to anger and frustration. It's a wonderful vehicle to come out of yourself. But it is foreground music, again, participatory music. And I don't even know what the question is anymore. Somebody said, I want to look at, someone said, music transcends time, space, and numerical dates. I agree. But Raymond said, it's funny. This man is a different generation, but the same love of music. And we talk about that a lot on the show. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you're from. It's music is the universal language that connects us no matter what. My father couldn't take the shrill guitars of the Beach Boys, but he was able to handle the Four Seasons as they rolled along. He loved all the black singing groups because he loved soul and he loved watching the dancing. So he was attached to that. And there was always, if you love music, I'll tell you what he loved. He loved Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. He loved that album. And it's because he loved music that he was able to relate to that album on his level, Yeah. And when he took me to the opera, he always took me to the opera when I was a kid. And I got to tell you something, I hated it. I couldn't wait to talk. So I could see someone listening to me talk about old school metal and say, what the fuck is that? But I still could go to any show and have a ball, no matter what it is. You know, I mean, I don't know if you even listen to this kind of music, but my regular listening is Arch Enemy and Demon Borgir.
Mm.
You know, that's like my regular animals. As I keep on forgetting the name of the albums, musicians, albums as musicians, or animals as masters. I don't know the name of the band, but whatever it is, I keep on listening to it and I keep on forgetting the names of them. But go ahead, Drew.
So the Rock and Roll Heaven is rock. I'm feeling my way through it. Rock and Roll Heaven is bringing people in. It's starting to happen. I know this tape trading becomes really, really paramount. There's a whole underground network that gets developed. Can you tell us a little bit about how those early tape trading days, what the environment was like?
Well, first of all, before anybody had the balls to sign a band, there was a tape. And each one of those tapes had the best effort that a band could put forward. Some of the bands that put together tapes had singles that made their way to you too. And some of the singles were just fantastic. Some of the tapes were so good that I actually sold them in the store for the bands.
Right.
You know, we had whole sections of tapes that were just not even released that you could buy of a band you liked if you knew who the hell they were. And a lot of people, because they heard about it in some of the fanzines.
There's the fanzines, were the network. Now, someone's doing what we call a super chat. Let me ask you. He says, what about the Clark Rock and Roll Heaven? Love that spot. Spent my youth riding my bike there. Was that when you opened the store?
No, yes. Clark, New Jersey is the store.
Okay.
I wanted to have a real brick and mortar Rock and Roll Heaven.
Is that this? Hold on. I think I found it. Would that be this? Boom. Is that?
Yes.
Got it. Bingo. Okay, go on.
It's a terrible picture of that.
Yeah, but at least it's something. It's a reference. It's cool.
Yes. And we had Slayer in the store. We had a bathroom in that store that was signed by all the bands with the most insane sayings and things on it. We hated selling the store only because the bathroom was worth its weight in gold.
That's
you
great.
know, Slayer, Metallica, you name it, they were all there. It was monstrous. And a lot of history was made in that store. And everything you wanted to buy was there.
I want to shout out my cousin, Alan Dubin, who sings in the band Noah. And he was in Old Lady Drivers. He says, I bought Overkill Power and Black demo at Rock and Roll Heaven in Clark.
I could believe that. That's where you'd find it.
Yep. So I don't want to get too hung up, but let's make a pit stop here. Metallica comes into your orbit. You hear the tape. You bring them to New York, and I know this show. Wait, hold on. Let me. I got to put this flyer up. Hold on. This is a big. Let me find it. Hold on. Here we go. I'm sorry. La 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 la. Okay. How about Rock and Roll Heaven presents Venom with Metallica at the Paramount Theater in Staten Island? What's up with that?
Hold on, let me just talk to the dogs for a second.
Go ahead.
Guys, you're interrupting a radio podcast. So it's really funny you put that up, because just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I put that very poster up in my Facebook, because I set up a museum in this house for all the things and awards and everything that was achieved in my life. And we found out that poster was missing. I didn't have that. So I put up a picture of that poster on Facebook, and I got a lot of responses where, well, I got that, but I'm not giving that back to you. You crazy? You know, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. It really broke my heart. And then I got a few people that said, you know, if you don't have it, Johnny, I shouldn't have it because it's your show. You know what I'm saying? And I said to the people, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was sent to one in not such great shape, one in good shape. And they're now being put up in the museum. And in fact, I got the Venom 7 Dates of Hell from somebody who saw that as well when Metallica opened up right after they went over to Europe for the first time. So I have some great, great posters. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. What's going on here, buddy?
That's rock and roll heaven, by the way.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
That's the magnitude. We had a policy. If a record was sold out, we still kept it on the wall. And we kept it on the wall to at least let people know we carry it. You know how many times I hear in a record store, oh, they didn't have it. Oh, they didn't have it. Oh, they didn't have it. Well, I want everybody to know not only did I have it, but I had it this week and I'll have it next week. So that was the walls of rock and roll heaven. Who you see is Kronos and Mantis from Venom. The Venom.
And your daughter.
That's my little Ricky there. God bless her soul. Love her so. She's in many pictures throughout her life with many of the bands, not wanting to and being told to stay the hell out of there.
Yeah, you know, it's catching some of our people's eye. Look at all those Euro imports. Nice. All those great European imports on the walls, you know?
And this is nothing. This is just one little section of the store, you know? Yeah, it was amazing. You got everything you want at Johnny Z's restaurant, even asking Marsh.
What else do I got from that era? Okay, so Metallica comes into your orbit. You bring them. You bring them over to the East Coast. You ship them in. You go out of pocket. You ship them in. You put them up. Oh, there was a great. Where's that great quote? Oh, I got a great quote from the book. You brought Metallica to the East Coast to play some shows and record their debut album, Kill 'Em All. And now I'm quoting you directly. The thing that fascinated me with Metallica was they went to bed after us, but woke up at 5, 6 in the afternoon. They were like vampires.
They were. You and
me are like, we're early morning guys, you and me. Like, I could never sleep past, 9, 10 o'clock.
You have to realize I had a 2-3-story house, and the downstairs in the basement was where I had my office. It was also where they slept all around me. So when I'm working and I'm on the phone, hello, yes, Metallica, yes, Metallica, this, that. They're sleeping. And sometimes they reach up and grab your leg. You're on the phone. It was funny as hell. But that's what they did. It was amazing.
Let me interject. Kevin says, put them up. They were squatting in the studio in Queens. No, Johnny sent them money to come over to Jersey. They were in Johnny's house first. And then they moved on, right, to the studio in Queens and whatever. But at first they came straight to your house, right?
First they came to my house, but my house had Venom in it, Raven living in it, and Anvil at the time living in it. Plus some of the bands that came into town would stop by. Plus I had tape traders in my house and writers of fanzines. So every inch of my house was full of people, full of headbangers listening to Gary Moore and whatever else we could listen to, Holocaust, Angel Witch, you name it, we were listening to it. And it went from my house, which was okay, but no room, to Anthrax's studio in Queens. They were supposed to get Anthrax's rehearsal place, which is nice and clean and really good for hanging. But instead, they were told they can't do that. They had to sleep in a certain area of the like a warehouse area, which was pretty terrible. Now, I want you to know, they stayed there for a while. And then it was Metal Joe and Ray Dill from the Old Ridge Militia that came and brought them out to New Jersey.
Right.
And they stayed out in New Jersey at the Funhouse for the longest time.
I like when the show runs itself. For those of us around the world that may not know, explain what the Old Ridge Militia is.
Well, it all started where the head of the militia, Rockin' Ray, would come by Rock and Roll Heaven every week and spend like $100 plus on vinyl. And Bush and I would say, please, Ray, come today because we really could use it towards our bills. And Ray came all the time and then would go back home. He had some crazy house too. Not Metal Joe's. He had his own crazy house. And the partying that went on there was debauchery. But it was all based around heavy metal. And they had big, giant speakers in their house, PA systems, and they would blast as loud as you possibly could blast your music. And everybody would be absolutely insane. Well, that group of people survived. And there they are today.
That's awesome.
The Old Militia Foundation giving back to the public that as thanks for living. You know, many of them very religious and grateful to God that they have lived and were able to give back at this time in their life. You know, you have my buddies Metal Joe, Ray, and Sean today running the operation. And there used to be 200. This is about what's left. There would be more, but there's a lot of confusion. And this is where we're at now.
I saw that isn't there an event coming up pretty soon?
Yes, in 2 weeks, on July 19th, starting at 2 o'clock, Bulldozer Bob passed away 6 years ago. And then once a year, they have a big blast for Bulldozer. And it's coming up. It's coming up the 19th. And
are you coming up for that?
What?
Are you coming up for that?
I can't function. I can't walk.
Got it.
Don't you think I'd be there in a second? They're dedicating it to Marsha. I can't even be there. I'm hoping my daughter Danielle can make it, but everybody else can't make it. And it's really fucking my head up in a big way that I can't make it to that event. So very sad. If I could walk just a little, I would do it, but I can't these days.
Got it. Yeah, the Bulldozer Bash. There you go. Rest in peace,
Bulldozer Bash number 5.
At 5. And okay, before we let's keep some sort of semblance of. I know this might be a little bit. Oh, this is about right. Yeah, this one seems about right. How about this? Here's a good shot of. This is you, Lars, Scott, Ian, and the dude in Hetfield. This seems very early on in the game, right?
Very early on, probably Rock and Roll Heaven days.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yep. Another quote from the book, which is really spot on, is you say that about Lars, he has a natural sense of leadership and intuition far beyond his years, and it was evident from the moment you spoke to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When Lars looked at me and gave me my favorite line to a band, let's not do something cliche here. If it was done before, we ain't doing it now. And let me tell you something. I could be full of all kinds of corny ideas. So it's good that you have that attitude and tell me to shut the fuck up, you know?
You know, when I interviewed those guys, here's a shot of, actually this isn't when I interviewed the dude. This is when I was on tour with Biohazard and they played some festivals in Europe with Metallica. So you know, I've met the guys a couple times through the years, but when I interviewed Hetfield for the Alago film, we were talking sort of off camera about stuff, and he said, "Thank God that Lars had an interest in the business side of things, because I just had no interest in it." And I thought it was really great that he acknowledged that really said, thank God he took an interest in it.
Well, James knows his place in the universe.
Yeah, he
He
does.
knows where he stands. He knows what he is. I think he does. I think he knows his talent, and his talent is his biggest enemy to his brain, probably, because all genius have problems that we have to deal with. We have demons, and I hope his are okay. That's very interesting, because we were actually sitting and talking about that at the time. That was in San Francisco. That was actually in Berkeley at a party that Metallica had. And James and I sat for quite a while and discussed stuff. It was a beautiful, beautiful time for the both of us. And I think we were both surprised how close we are.
I'm a big, I could say this with a straight face. I'm a big fan of James Hetfield as a person. These days, my interactions with him have been really pleasant. I think he's, I know there's a lot that's not in my realm, but as far as my interactions go with him, he has been very, very pleasant. I think he's a great guy.
Oh, I owe a lot to James Hetfield, and I'm a big believer in him.
Yeah,
and that's all I could say. That he will go on. I hope he lives to 80, because I can't wait to hear the truck songs he writes.
Before we move on, let me throw one more older Metallica shot up there.
That was taken backstage at Club Willie's.
I'm trying to read what it says on your shirt. I think it says, "Don't talk to me about Accept." Is that what your shirt says?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I had to wear that shirt everywhere I went, because we had booked an Accept concert with Manowar in the United States at the Paramount Theater, except everybody knew about it except Accept. And Accept's manager thought I was trying to steal a band from her, but I thought the guy who came from Germany to my house, living in my house, who gave me the deal, was the manager. So here I am talking to the wrong guy who came as an imposter as a manager. The manager's calling me a thief. I really was a thief, but didn't know it. And I had to wear a shirt because everybody would say, "Johnny, when's the Accept coming?" Because we loved Accept at Rock and Roll Heaven. Fast as a Shark was one of the biggest albums we ever had. And Metallica, that place is now not Willie's, but what is it called now?
I don't know. Anybody out there? It was
Jersey. The big place in Jersey, the club.
It wasn't the show place, was it? No.
No.
One of our people responded. What was the place?
Sayreville.
Okay, hold on. What was the place in Sayreville? It was called Willie's. What is it called now, you Jersey people? That'll get it done. Of course, listen. Nope. How about it'll come up. Someone will come up with it. Oh, the Starland Ballroom.
Starland.
See? Got the best people that watch the show, man. better than the internet. This is my internet. No, it's not Birch Hill. It's the Starland.
Birch Hill was another great place in New Jersey.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
Yo,
Very
shouting out Tommy Conan on the Sunday. What's up, bro? Club Benet. That's another one.
Wow, that's where I played Metallica with Twisted Sister.
No, it was the Starland, right?
The other one is the Starland.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. John Angeli says, "Please tell Johnny I say hello." Hey, Johnny. John Angeli says hello, brother.
John Angeli.
Hey, let's talk about this piece of history right here. Wow.
Bang.
Bang. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
I'll tell you something. Turn my camera back on.
There you go. There you go.
That's what you really got.
There you go. The big banger right there, man.
That was quite an album.
Yep.
That was quite an album.
Yeah.
What can I say?
That really set the whole thing into motion, didn't it?
Well, you know, it was really funny because here I am with this demo, and I had another demo live at MAB at the Mabuhay Ballroom in San Francisco.
Sure.
Let me tell you something. What a show that was. Wow, what a friggin' show. Hetfield was on fire and Mustaine was on fire. They were all on fire. But that was particularly on fire. I'm forgetting once again where I was going with this. Oh, I had to match.
Hey, you know what? It almost doesn't matter. After showing us the wall, it doesn't matter.
Well, I will say this.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The show was, oh, see, you took it right out of my brain. What happened was I was trying to beat the quality of the demo with the album. That's the whole reason I went and spent the money in the studio, to really do something better than an album, than a demo. And I figured from that point on, if you're on Megaforce Records, we're going in the studio, we're going to do real records, real albums that in those days cost a lot of money, not like today. And that album is the result of the studio. And we were afraid, so afraid. But everybody came up to us, everybody, and said that the quality of the album blew away the demo, and we solved that problem, and that was it.
Well, I know, you know, it certainly reached a lot of people's ears and really changed the world. And I just want to say, and we all pretty much know the history of how things shook out. But I want to say that we have a friend of ours that wants to come on and say hi to you. So here you go, Michael Lago. How you doing?
Hi, sweetheart.
Zazula. Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm okay.
It's always wonderful.
Okay. How nice of you to join us.
Well, when he told me you were going to be on, I figured I should just put in my fucking 2 cents. 2 cents. And say hi to you. And, you know, I think the world of you. And I have the ultimate respect for you and your late wife and your organization. And, you know, it's funny, John. We became fast friends, I think, I don't know, around the moment I started at Elektra. It was my first job. I was an A&R executive. And when I got there, I didn't even know what the fuck A&R meant. I had to ask somebody. They laughed in my face. It's A&R. And then I realized that A&R is the most important department of a record company. You don't make great records. You don't find great artists. Off with your head.
Off with your head. And we did.
Well, you certainly did. And, you know, it's a funny thing that, well, it's not a funny thing. We became colleagues rather fast. I think you liked me and I liked you, dear. And, you know, you sent me a box of records one day and there was all this stuff in there. And I was like, oh my God. And then, John, I think if you remember, you know, sometimes my brain, it's like 35, 36 years ago, is a little shot. But, you know, we were talking about Raven the first time.
We were talking about Raven.
Yes.
And you kept on talking about James.
Of course I did. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Wait a minute. Is that like a Jim Henson t-shirt you have on?
It's a Henson, Master of the Puppets.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
that
well,
is awesome.
Of course. Oh my God,
awesome.
that's so great. So, you know, like we became fast friends and we were talking about Raven at first. And I gave you a bunch of money to do a demo and the demo was great. But in your box, you had Kill 'Em All. And, you know, like I tell people, I'm sure it's the way you felt. the first time you heard those songs and you made that record with Metallica, it was extraordinary. I don't think any of us ever experienced that sound before, you know? I mean, we were all listening to like all the traditional stuff that was out there, you know? And this was a game changer for both of us, you know? And so after we talked about Raven for a long while, and I just said, you know, John, I'm paraphrasing. I said, you know, John, this is awesome, but I'm not going to move forward with them. And I don't know how it all came to be. You know, then it's summer of 1984, and there's the Megaforce triple act bill at Roseland, and that's when it all just kind of.
It all got a little strange there, Michael.
What? I'm sorry?
It all got a little weird for you and me over there.
Yes.
It did. It got very strange for you and I. It became a relationship that probably would have never survived the world. But the thing is, I always loved you.
Well, I feel the exact same way about you. And, you know, I guess I was kind of in this place where I could afford to give them money to get to that next step. So I think personally and professionally, Elektra made out well, Megaforce made out well, and the long and short of it is the rest is history.
History.
Yeah.
But, you know, John initially took the chance and got them over here and set them on their way. And that is incredible.
With so many people, he gave them the chance with their first records, you know? And, you know, John, as you know, the beauty of all that that gig at Roseland is my brain just stopped. Oh, yeah. Raven got signed to Atlantic, Anthrax gets signed to Island, and Metallica gets signed to Elektra. So in the end, it was a pretty damn good event. And, you know, even though things were strained between us, because when I said to you that I didn't want to sign Raven and I wanted to sign Metallica, like they were your babies, you know, they were I don't know, you know, I'm paraphrasing. I can't say that you loved them the most and insult everybody else, but they were very important. They were very important to you. So yes, there was a strain in the relationship. And then, like I said, once everything went down, personally and professionally, I if I can say this, I think we just stayed friends all these years.
Well, Michael, I understand a lot of things in my wisdom as I get older, and I understand the choices that people make and why they make them, who's in place at the time, who's not at the place at the time. I think I can't go into it now because it's very deep inside me, but I will say the most important thing, that I feel you did your job. I feel you did what you had to do. I never, ever said that mother, blah, blah, blah. It was never in me, but I knew where certain things came from. And I never actually blamed you for anything in my losing the band. This is very heavy stuff going on Drew's show right now, but I never, ever blamed you. And I always had a place in my heart for you. And I knew you were doing, as I said, the best thing you could do for your job. So, and in the years that followed, when I went to you at Island, my God, you were my sugar daddy.
No, wait, darling, we didn't do anything at Island. Did you mean Palm Pictures?
At Palm Pictures, is that where it was?
Well, are you talking about Fozzy and Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
Fozzy was very good, but we did Ominous Pods, which didn't work out.
Oh my God, the Almond. Wait, somebody
What
from Almond, they were like, they were band all the time down at, what's the place on West Broadway, Drew?
Wetlands.
They were like a wetlands band, and somebody. This is the weirdest thing, John, because it's got to be 20 years. Somebody from that band just like friended me. I think his name is Matt. He might have been the leader of the band. I'm not sure. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes, that too. I didn't sign them there, but you had placed them at Palm Pictures, and I just out of because of knowing you, and I was an A&R person there, I wound up being their A&R person as well. And the same thing, you were talking to Faisal at Palm Pictures, I think, and then what?
Who knows?
Okay. Anyway, Fozzie wound up at Palm Pictures, and I A&R'd them. And then I had what else did I do at Palm? A local H.
I didn't really know. You know, and all I know about you, I don't think maybe the Fozzie thing. I don't think we ever really got into that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's okay. What?
That's a whole other story, isn't it,
Michael?
Oh, honey, that's a big story. Yeah. But anyway, Chris Jericho's band, and they went on to make 7, 8 records, not with Palm, but their records got better and better. I love Chris Ward. Chris
No.
Jericho? No. Chris Jericho and Ward. Come on.
Jeff Ward.
We're both a little friggin' crazy here. Ward, who's the Ward person? He was in what was his band called?
Oh, I did the video for them. I got it. Rich Ward. I did the video. Stuck Mojo.
Right.
I did their first video at the Masquerade in Atlanta. I directed their first video.
Honey, we had like some brain freeze.
Come on now, bring it.
Doing our best. So yeah, I worked with Chris on that first record. I had signed Local H from Chicago, and the great Jack Douglas produced them. And then my favorite little band, and still one of my favorite bands from Dallas, Texas, Speed Dealer. I had Jason Newsted produce their record, Second Sight.
Oh my God.
After that, I was just gone. 2005, after doing A&R from 1980 to 2005, I was shot, and I wasn't feeling so good, and I felt like everything was changing in the business. So that was a good 25 years, and then from 2005, what is this? That's another 16 years to right here where we are.
Fantastic.
I am not well, John, it's so wonderful to see you.
Michael, it's wonderful to see you. You were a great surprise. I'm thrilled.
When he said, "Are you going to come on the show?" I said, "Of course, I'm going to come say hello." I love John.
All right,
and John, I got to come visit you this summer.
Please,
because I think you invited me anyway.
I did. I invite everybody, but you especially.
Good.
Especially.
All right, sweetheart. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
John, I love you. Drew, I love you. And everybody out there, rock and roll, and John Zazula. Mwah! Big kiss, big hug to you. See ya.
See ya.
I hope you don't feel like I shanghaied you, bro.
Not with Michael Lago.
Good.
Mike and I really have come together in a soulful, peaceful way over those years. And it didn't start very good, but it did get very good. In fact, as good as it gets.
That was nice. That was heavy, man. That was cool. You know,
that was an exclusive, man. Wow.
Yeah, man. That's what we do here. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna let's take a sponsor break. You could, if you need to, get something to eat or go to the bathroom or whatever. Let me do a sponsor break, and we'll bring you back in a couple minutes. Okay?
How many is a couple?
It'll take 7, 8 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes, whatever. I'll run through it all. All right. All right. Well, listen, you asked for it, you got it. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We're doing big things here today. Our guest is John Zazula from Megaforce Records, and he's the author of Heavy Tales, The Metal, the Music, the Madness. Of course, we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records, and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, and Generation Records. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay on the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as T-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay top dollar for them. House calls are made for huge collections. on the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram. DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district, shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal, which reminds us we're going to have to get into a little Manowar maybe once we get John back on. How about Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, located in Lakewood, Colorado, is the Rocky Mountain headquarters for all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories between Chicago and LA. From the pit to the ditch, they got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. Also, I want to mention the next couple of shows coming up. Don't be scared. Got cool stuff coming up. This Wednesday, just so you know, believe it or not, there's no show a week from today. For the first time in a very long time, since the show started, a week from today, there will not be a Sunday show. Instead, we're doing 2 Wednesday shows. A week from today is the A7 compilation release get together at A7, and I gotta be there, and I ain't trying to do this fucking show from the A7. So, that said, this Wednesday, we are excited to have on the show Mr. Chris Reese, formerly of Social Distortion and The Lewd. Of course, he was in The Lewd. Our friend from Metal Church, Kurt Vanderhoof, was in The Lewd as well. Chris Reese played on Prison Bound, Mommy's Little Prison Bound, Self-Titled, and Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. We're going to get into some Social Distortion. Then a week from Wednesday, we have Spick on the show. Danny Diablo, Joe Fatal, and Joe Lito. You know that's going to be a hoot. Don't be scared. Sunday, June 20th, 2 weeks from today, Matt Byrne from Hatebreed coming on the show. We'll get into that. And then a week from then, it's going to be Keeler from Sepultura, Soulfly, Cavalera Conspiracy, Killer Be Killed, and Go Ahead and Die. Our good friend, Mr. Max Cavalera, is going to be on the show. Also, I want to shout out an event that we have coming up. When is this friggin' thing? Saturday, June 26th, which is why you need to be a patron, although we're probably going to open this thing up to the public at some point. We have in Alago, if you're still out there, we have the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live Hardcore Brunch with the guest of all. Come on. Hey, Alago, what are you doing on the 26th? You going to come to the brunch?
I'm coming. So
come on now.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be fun. I'd love to have you.
Well, of course. Yeah.
All right.
That's love all. You. Love Craig Satari. You know, love the organic grill.
All right.
And I love food.
At ease, soldier. So there you go. It's the organic at the Organic Grill, the 26th, which is why it is important. If you are not a patron, please be a patron and support this show. This is how you can do it. This show is crowd-funded. That's how we do it. That's why we can do our own thing and not have to answer to anybody and do the shows we want. Sure, we've had offers to take the show into a studio and have a single sponsor, but then it would be kind of like we're working for the man, and we don't really want to do that, do we? So let's try to keep it, let's kind of keep it the way it is, man. And I really appreciate everybody that has supported the show from the bottom of my heart. I want to shout out a couple of my new patrons, Zachary Kinney, Timothy Reichel, like Michael, Reichel, Derek Moomin, Ray Hogan, and Jorge Rodriguez. All of you, thank you so much for supporting the show. If you're watching and you're new to all this, there's a $2 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier, a 96 tiers. You know, this show is a lifesaver. Yes, Ryan, thank you, bro. Fuck the man. All right, let's not get carried away. Yeah. Yep. And damn, everyone was in the lewd, right? So there you go. What else? Yes, Social D and all that. So listen, I know in a lot of times I'm preaching to the converted here, But please, if you haven't, join Patreon. There's also a PayPal address. Support this show. What can I say? That said, I think I covered everything. A few other quick things before we bring Johnny back on. I want to mention, one thing I don't do enough. If you're watching the show, please join us on Instagram. It's at stonefilmsnyc.com. Motherfucker's blowing my phone up right now, even as we talk. That's what I get for picking it up. So pick up your phone right now. And follow us on Instagram at stonefilmsnyc. What else? I think that's kind of it. I think we're good. There's a super chat function. We're going to do some questions with Johnny Z towards the end. Please, another way to support the show is with super chat. So there you go. Why? Do you got something to say? You want to say something?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love all the comments going on in there. I'm just going to fucking add to it, but I can't.
Why? Why can't you? Oh, because you probably, you know what? You need to sign off the show and then start viewing it. And you probably could. No, but you should be able to.
Well, I even joined here. You gave me a code.
Steven, call Alago and walk him through it. I'll talk to you in a bit, Alago.
All right.
Let's bring our guest back on, Mr. Johnny Z. Brother.
I had to kiss some people goodbye. They were leaving my home.
It's a love fest.
My friends Christopher Twiggy and their two pugs. The pugs.
Oh. The pugs.
The pugs. You got to give it to the pugs and Chris and Twig.
Yeah, you're a big animal person. You've always been, right?
It's a zoo here, man.
Let me see.
By the way, Ricky just got that Venom poster framed. It looks amazing.
Cool. Let's not to. I think we should touch on. Let's touch on this a second. Anthrax was really your baby. I mean, you nurtured them from early on, the beginning, when they were really sort of challenged musically a little bit, and you really nurtured them. Could you give us any perspective on early Anthrax and perhaps the success they've had later on?
Well, Anthrax stick to Anthrax. I can't really speak for Anthrax today because after 11 years with me and Marsha as their management, they've gone on to do other things after we departed. And, one of those things was the departure of Joey and things like that. And, so we didn't agree with everything that basically went on after 11 years. The last probably great thing that we agreed on, the last things were the Chuck D coming aboard with Bring the Noise and Trust getting them aboard to do antisocial.
You're antisocial.
Antisocial. Those were the last things we did. And in the book, we talk about the very interesting breakup, which really required quite a bit of work because we were just so intertwined with each other. It was like being another member of the band, essentially.
Let me ask you a note. Reading the book, about were you worried when Neil Turbin quit? Did you go, oh shit, what the fuck are these guys going to do now?
Not really.
It didn't come off that way. It seemed like it wasn't a big stress.
Well, I like Neil very much for his vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But, Neil had his thing, which I don't have to discuss out of respect to Neil.
Yeah, of course. Of course. We don't get into shit.
But that's basically it. When he quit, it all just made sense. How does that sound? It all just made sense. That only thing, but it was still a shock because going through the minds of everybody was who the hell is going to replace that dude?
And tell us a little bit about when the next guy came in and what you thought.
Well, it's funny because we always wanted a guy named Drew Stone for the band.
Well, I try. We could laugh about it because I did try out for Anthrax, and we
3 songs, 3 minutes. I heard.
Yeah, I did try out for Anthrax. It is true, but this was after. This was what was that? 10 years after this thing, right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is we went into a club in New York with an Anthrax cover band.
Yep.
And we had about 104 singers come up and
Yep.
try to take Joey's job. No one got close at all. Somebody got pretty cool. Somebody, I think, who worked at Electric Lady, an engineer or somebody, got very close, but not that close.
It is true, people. I kid you not. I tried out for Anthrax. But
3 notes.
yeah,
They call them 3 notes.
And you were in the DJ booth. You were sort of overseeing the whole thing, right?
I was overseeing it, making sure it was videoed. I have the video today, by the way, so I'm going to see next week if you're really in it. But from what I remember, they called him 3 Note Stone.
That's awesome. And a couple people are asking about SOD and how that came about. When Joey joined the band, and did that happen during spreading the disease? Give us a little perspective on SOD, if you could.
Well, I believe it happened during spreading. I'm very confused about this whole thing. All I remember is going up to the studio in Ithaca, New York, and they had pictures of that's CBGB's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They had pictures of Sergeant D all over the place doing his demonic dudes as the leader of the SOD, Stormtroopers Death. And it was very much, to me, like Sergeant Fury on steroids. Right. And the music, by the way, was phenomenal. And the fellow they brought up to sing was phenomenal. And the whole group was phenomenal. And to see Luca back was a great, great thing. It's really funny. You have that CBG. You had that CBG picture up.
It's coming back. Hold on. Go ahead.
That was originally taken with Robert Englund.
I have that. Hold your horses. I have that. Would that be this? La da dee da da da. Would that be this?
Yes, but it was taken in front of CBGB's.
Ah, got it. Okay.
Now I sent that picture to 6 magazines and got about 16 covers. That blew the band up in Europe so fast, it was unbelievable. Not to mention the fact that they were amazing. That didn't hurt.
Right.
Never hurt. But if they ever toured Europe, it would have been Freak Out City, man.
Danny Lilker is a big, big fan favorite on this show. We've had him on a couple times. He's a beloved, kind soul. We love him.
Well, that's good because he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a great guy, and I wish I got to spend more time with him. I got to spend I love Frankie Bello, please. But I would have loved to have spent some time with Luca, especially due to the fact that we both smoke so much pot. I probably would have been kicked out of the band as manager if I kept up with Luca. Because, my pot intake is quite intense. Not anymore, I have to say, but it's been.
Did you ever think in your fucking lifetime that you would see marijuana get fucking legalized the way it is?
Why not? Should be. Everybody should be out of jail. Come on. They should legalize all drugs. If they legalized all drugs, there'd be no crime. Give me a break.
I never thought it would happen. I never thought I'd see it, but I'm glad it has.
It's not over yet.
Right. Yeah. Hey, let's get a little kooky here from Paulie Porkchops. Hey, John, do you have any good 80s era Merciful Fate stories?
Well, the only Merciful Fate story I have, unfortunately, is a story of sadness because I brought them to America and we did a gig at the Lemoore's Club,
Mm-hmm.
and I got sick really bad that night. I couldn't go. And I felt really bad on not being able to meet King and his first time in America like I met everybody else when they landed. You know, that was very sad. Also, what you may not know is that the SOD album was very successful in Europe because my deal was I broke Merciful Fate here, and Roadrunner, a new label in Europe who became a big label in America, pretty big label, Roadrunner broke SOD in Europe. So Merciful Fate here, SOD there. That was the deal. I thought, you know, that may be interesting to some of the listeners over here who don't know that.
They love King.
Yes.
Another band that so you know what I found that was interesting. Just real quick, looking at reading the book. At the end, there's a discography of all the records that you put out, right?
Yes.
And,
why discography?
Yeah, and you know I'm reading through it, and of course 1983, you know, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, 8 or 9 records. 84 had 8, and I'm talking, you know, Metallica, Kill 'Em All, the Merciful Fate stuff, Anthrax, you know, TT Quick. 84, 85. I noticed that in 1986 you only put out 1 record, TT Quick. Any particular reason why only 1 record was released in 1986?
Well, I knew I'd be asked that question one day. Really did. In 1985. If you look at 83 to 85,
yeah,
see why there's nothing in 86. Because in 86, we were working all those records.
got it.
We just couldn't put out any more records or go to the studio or have any money for anything. It was all in marketing.
Got it. I mean, 85, SOD, Speak English or Die, Anthrax, Spreading Disease, Overkill, Feed the Fire. I mean,
one after another. And I'm in the studio with each album.
And then 87, you come back strong again with, oh, you know what I love that you put out in 87? The Ace Frehley record. That was a great record. I love that record.
Move, right?
Yeah, I love that record, bro. Love that record. Yep. And another band that comes up is King's X. Could you tell us a little bit about how King's X came into your orbit and why you love them so much?
Well, you first have to realize King's X is part of the great Marsha Zazula story. She not only discovered them, but she brought them to the label and fought for them. A real fight, in fact, to get them signed. That's my girl, Marsha Z.
Yep.
And in fact, there's a picture of Doug Pinnick with that hat, with that head, the Knot Man, that is, who appears in the Antisocial video, the Knot Man. Mm-hmm. Ozzy Osbourne wears that hat, that head on his head.
Huh.
The exact head. Anyway, we get a demo tape from an S. Taylor. And Marsha goes, look, man, Steve from the Garmo and Key, a Christian band in the South we like very much.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
Well, the whole thing basically is we thought this Steve Taylor is our guy. We get in touch and find out that Sam Taylor, who comes from the ZZ Top organization, talking to us about King's X. So we end up having conversations with Sam Taylor, not we, Marsha. And then Sam Taylor sends Marsha a homemade video of them on an oil rig. And it was a great, great video, and it got me interested. And then we started getting involved in the talking, the vision, because vision is a big deal with us. Where you going? It all came to fruition that we'd be moving on with King's X because everything fit into line. So now you know how King's X ended up. Marsha's fight with me won. She won her fight. Basically, that was it. And I have no regrets.
I saw King's X play at the Limelight. I think when Gretchen Goes to Nebraska came out.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
They fucking crushed it, man.
If they had the lights of a Pink Floyd show, what would be the difference? I don't know. Without a pig floating by, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But when Doug Pinnick does a song called Pray For Me, if you know that song, let me tell you something. That is one of the most inspirational songs I've ever heard in my entire life. My skin is up and my hair is up and down my arms when he does Pray For Me. And I sure wish he had it in my arsenal of songs. It didn't come out during my time.
You know, I'm looking for. I can't find it. I did a King's. I know it was after. After you worked with them, but I did a King's X video. I produced a Dogman video for them. Mm-hmm. Oh, Chippy Love, that was a great show, right, at the Limelight. Yeah, you know, the King's X was like a, how do you say? I hate to say it, but how do you put it? It's like they were a musicians band. Right. Like musicians fucking loved that band.
I used to get shit all the time from the president of Atlantic Records. He used to come to me and say, Johnny, we cannot hold that CD in our collections of CDs at Atlantic. The bands are just coming through and pilfering it. Everybody is just taking it and taking it and taking all of them. Yep. Now, why do all the musicians love them and we can't sell any CDs? Well, please understand, they can't sell on any CDs was over 200,000 CDs.
Wow.
It's not like we sold 20,000 CDs. It's not like we didn't have a number 3 record on radio in the country, you know, but it didn't translate.
Yeah.
That's the whole story. To the normal public, it did not translate. To the Jesus person, who the songs were written for but not directed at, it did not translate. A lot didn't translate. Don't know why.
Did you work with any other bands that you feel sort of? I mean, I know you have high hopes and you believed in everybody you signed, but was there anybody else that you felt you really hit the mark, but somehow it just didn't translate? Similar to King's X, any other sort of situations like that?
The ultimate story would be Mindfunk.
John Monty. Yeah.
Louis Vitek from Ministry and MOD.
Right.
You know, you basically had a tremendous band. I had every label and their grandma call me to represent that band, to sign them. They all came down to New Jersey, to Hackensack, to our studio, and they all came one by one, gave me an offer. Richard Branson for Virgin called me on the phone twice personally.
Come on now.
Nobody knows this from mine.
Come on now.
Absolutely. I didn't put it in the book. One of my big mistakes will be in the volume 2 of things that I want to say really. But what if I ever do it, if I live to it? But Pat Dubois, someone just said Pat Dubois. What a singer, man. Pat Dubois, God bless him. He's now a superstar coach in California for the non-major teams, you know, for the teams that are underneath. And I think high school or above, you know, football. And everybody, Louis out there working and Monty's doing stuff now with, I can't say who, but he's got a really good gig, you know, but it doesn't really matter. Mindfunk, you know, what people don't know is that they sold a little under 150,000 records and were dropped. They were dropped because Pearl Jam came into the scene and all that grunge stuff came right behind it. And Epic really felt that they didn't need Mindfunk and they didn't need the contract that I gave them because I gave them a rough contract. I was really protecting Mindfunk. And they were mad at me because I also was no longer the manager of Suicidal Tendencies, which they really wanted me to be.
Got it.
So there was all that going on. They dropped Mind Funk, and I felt that another album by Mind Funk.
Did Mind Funk do one or two records on the label? Did they do? There was two,
One
right?
on Epic,
One on Epic,
two
right?
Music for Nations.
Got it.
Two Music for Nations, number 2 and number 3. And there's actually quite a demand right now, I hear, for Mind Funk to like make a reappearance in this world.
That'd be great.
They have a lot of fans. And that particular group, I mean, where do you sell under 150 get dropped?
That sucks.
Only, there have to be circumstances really intense. It wasn't because your manager busted your ass or anything. I just followed the contracts, just did what I had to do, and the band just went on. Unfortunately, again, if you put out a single and it don't happen, they'll chop you off at the knees.
People go on about the old record infrastructure, and they kind of knock it, but at least there was an infrastructure and there was a system back then. Was. At least there was. Nowadays, it's chaos.
It's you can't live with them.
Yeah.
You can't live without them. But if you really got going, you had a fighting chance.
Right.
What the mistake that Megaforce made was they maybe should have stayed indie a little bit longer and built up the sales to the point that the sales were really perpetuating big money. But we right away wanted the band to be on a major label. We wanted the band to have the backing of a major, the radio, the marketing, the advertising. It would cost you $120,000 to launch a record. I didn't have it, but the majors had it. They didn't want to give it, but we had it. And it went to my bands. That's why Megaforce always looked so big, because we had the majors propping us up so high. That's what we did. And if you were independent, you still did well, because we had the success from everything rolling into us, into the indies.
Got a question from Chucky Perez. Can you talk a little bit about your work with Ace Frehley?
Ace Frehley.
I mean, that must have been an adventure.
The thing that you know about Ace Frehley is that it wasn't an adventure. Okay. But it was a journey. It was a journey. Mm-hmm. Ace Frehley, when we were going to sign him, I had to do all kinds of checks, Eliezer? On Ace, to see just what the condition of his mind was.
Right.
He had just driven a DeLorean the wrong way up the road there and caused all kinds of...
You know where that was? That was on. I drive that road up to my sister's. That's the Sprain Brook Parkway. The Taconic? I think it was the Sprain Brook.
Sprain Brook. It's very possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that he just had been through all kinds of stuff. Everybody was bad-mouthing him. And I went to a buddy, a producer, Eddie Kramer, and some other people just to find out what the status was of Ace. And everybody was... Excuse me.
Bronx River Parkway, one of our listeners said. It was the Bronx River Parkway.
Really?
Got it.
And the Bronx River goes right into the spring.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, what checked out was that he was in great shape. And the next thing was would he sign to Megaforce? I am being told that we're legendary, but I'm dealing with Ace Frehley now. Talk about legendary in those days.
Yeah.
So we arrange a meeting and we go down by Rockefeller Center to the ice skating rink.
Uh-huh.
Pretty nice restaurant down there. And we say, let's have some lunch and talk about business over lunch. And we have lawyers there, and we took Ace down there for a very nice lunch. And he goes to the waiter, do you have some bread with, I'll take some tuna on it and some mayonnaise. And
Is this the tuna fish story? Go on.
The waiter looks at me and goes, oh, you mean Paul, you want a tuna fish sandwich? You know, now the first thing is I didn't make up the word Paul. When he walked into the restaurant, everybody, hello, Paul, hello, Paul, hello, Paul, hello, Paul, hello, Paul. I swear to God, he paid them off before we walked in. The whole restaurant was slapping the towel for Paul Fraley. Who knows? He must have been really, really interesting to these people, or good to them, or just interesting. Who knows? But it was quite a phenomenon. And then he signs the contract up at the lawyer's office. That was a long day. Mm-hmm. And we all decided on everything that was necessary. I mean, there was no big deal. There was no fancy anything. There was no big signing bonus. I mean, Ace just wanted to be left to do his own albums at his own device. And this is exactly what the whole Ace Frehley story was. Unfortunately, as we went on, it became a lot more lackluster.
That first record was great, man.
The first record, all the stars and everything was lined up for that record. I saw him play, I think, at the Ritz, when the Ritz was at Studio 54. I saw him play when that record came out. He played there. It was really packed. I was all the way on the balcony at the top. He was great. Ace is great. Yeah, he was great. Ace is great. And that's basically, I'm sorry there's no great Ace entertaining stories. I got to bring him to London. We played the Hammersmith Odeon. Nice. And it was remarkable. So let's go on. Let me do my last sponsor shout out. Give me 2 minutes, and then we'll take questions from around the world, okay? Okay. All right. All right, what's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is John Zazula, Megaforce Records, and he is the author of Heavy Tales. Get your questions ready, all right? Let me do a couple of, how about the Texas Silver Rush? It's a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. The client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, New York Hardcore's own Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, which seems to be ending, all information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Last but not least, after bitching at them, New York Hardcore Comics sent me a new script. New York Hardcore Comics opened in 2013, selling comic books, punk rock, and hardcore memorabilia, toys, statues, skateboard decks, tapes, vinyl, and all things horror. We love helping bands push their demos and new tracks, so please stop by and drop off your new music. We have in-store events like Magic, The Gathering, and Warhammer tournaments. Please meet and greet, plus meet and greet guests with bands and some live performances. Open 7 days a week and shipping worldwide. Find us online through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and eBay. Located at 117 Main Street in Dobbs Ferry, New York, and NewYorkHardcoreComics.com. There you go. Just real quick, before we bring Johnny Z back, I want to remind everybody of a couple of shows coming up. We have Steve Birnbaum, the photographer on Instagram. Your band was here June 30th, which is my dad's birthday. We'll have to bring Arnie Stone on for his birthday. Then we have Sergio Vega from Quicksand, the Deftones, and Absolution on July 11th. July 14th, Scott Helen from Deep Wound, The Outpatients, Frenchie and the Punk, and Guitar Me of One. And also, I want to remind everyone that this Sunday is the A7 Back to the New York Hardcore Roots compilation listening party
at A7. It's happening this Sunday. We're going to have product, the whole bit. We're getting back into the A7 this Sunday. So if you're in New York City, get your ass down there. All right? Don't make me come looking for you. That said, let us bring our guest on, and let's do some questions, Johnny Z. Let's see what we got. Hey, repost your questions if you have. Here's a band that we haven't discussed, Johnny. Maybe you could give us some perspective. How about Overkill?
I love Overkill. I always did.
Yeah. Hometown cooking, right?
Well, Overkill, the label that I don't mention in some of my interviews, etc., is Zazula Records. They were a small little label out of Compton, I think out of California. And they put out the first EP. I've had all the demos of Overkill for sale at Rock and Roll Heaven, the store in East Brunswick, New Jersey. But the EP really impressed me. I thought it sounded really good. And I said, why don't you guys, let's make that move. Let's give Megaforce a whole kick in the ass. So we went and we did the album for Megaforce, Feel the Fire. What I do want you to know about Overkill, which is really funny. Hi, Teresa. What we do for Overkill, what happened with Overkill was that after they finished the photo shoot for the back of the album, I always talk about this because it's so funny. They came back to the studio and the butts of their pants were still smoking. Mm-hmm. They were on fire, literally, and they were walking around the studio. You can't see what I'm doing, but on their butts to the ground, trying to get the flames off and all this stuff, get the smoke off. That was an Overkill story. And there's another one that didn't make the book. We rented an apartment in Ithaca, New York, where all the band stayed, and I stayed. My children stayed. And Overkill would have their crew stay back and would go out sometimes at night and party at this place called Captain Joe's on Lake Cayuga in Ithaca. Well, it's a real jock town. And they started fighting with Bobby Blitz at the bar. And Bobby Blitz just reaches over, grabs a bottle, and goes, takes care of one of the guys. And they're all looking at him, and they decide they better get out of there. So they head for the apartment. They all go to the apartment. That's about 9:30 at night. At about 11 o'clock, there's a banging on the door at the apartment we have where the band's sleeping. The Old Ridge Militia, who were the roadies to the band, was sleeping. Everybody's down, and they're breaking the door down of the apartment. It's an army of jocks. I don't know how many.
I love it. It's an army of jocks.
It's an army of jocks.
It was the army of jocks. Awesome.
And what happened was they came banging in, and they started attacking everybody in the apartment.
Holy shit.
First thing they did was they hit Bulldozer Bob. If you know anything about Bulldozer Bob, he's gone now, but the Bulldozer Bob Bash is being held on the 19th at 2 o'clock in Old Ridge, New Jersey. It's the 5th party we're having for Bulldozer and his death. And Bulldozer gets hit on the head with a nice one, right? Bulldozer gets hit on his head with a baseball bat, wakes up, gets out of bed. There's about 20 of these guys. They start going down, I hear, like bowling pins. and then there was Rebel. Rebel was there from the Old Ridge Militia. Bobby Blitz. Anyway, I hear about this whole thing. And I hear that all I hear is that there was a big fight at Captain Joe's. They went and attacked the band at the house. Don't worry, John. Only a few $1,000 maybe in damage was done. And they put all the jocks in the hospital. I said, well, what happened to the band? He says, you have to come up. So we go up. We get Bobby Blitz's black eyes. And we get into the apartment. There's flesh hanging from the walls
Woo!
lamps broken all over the place. It was like World War III went off in this apartment. And what basically happened was these guys came in, and what happened was, as someone says, Old Ridge Militia represented, man. And they took these people to pieces.
Wow.
Now, the next day, it's time for dinner. So we go up to the local diner, and believe it or not, diner.
Would that wouldn't be the TikTok diner down there, would it? No.
I have no idea what the
Yeah,
name of it
okay.
is. Well, it was the full...
On Route 9. On Route 9, right?
No, in Ithaca, New York.
Oh, I'm sorry. In Ithaca. Go ahead. Right.
We're still talking about the Ithaca story.
Yeah,
Because the next day we take Overkill and everybody up for dinner. And guess who's there? All the jocks.
Ooh.
Sitting at a table with their parents. And guess where they sat the whole dinner?
Where?
With their parents. Overkill got up, went to the bathroom, did whatever they wanted to do individually, etc., left the building. That's the end of the story. But it cost me about $1,500 for the apartment.
We have a request from Gary says, add Army of Jocks to the band's name list. We have a running band's name list that, you know, when things come up. So I'm going to add Army of Jocks as a potential that, you know, we can license that name out. Army of Jocks.
You certainly can.
Yep. Army of Jocks has been added to the list. You know, I have a photo in my archives of Overkill. I never realized until fairly recently that early on, Overkill was like sort of wore makeup, and they were like sort of very Slayerish early on, and that Danny Spitz was in Overkill in an early version. I didn't know that.
There's Danny on the left.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah. What's it? Danny Spy?
Danny Spitz, Anthony Amendola, Rat Skates, Bobby Blitz, and D.D. Blaze.
Unbelievable.
And somebody just posted, I think they're about to put out their 20th album, I think.
Well, the last one was really good, by the way.
Wow.
Last one had one of the heaviest openings I've ever heard on an album. Yeah. Blitz explained to me how they got that sound, how they got that Dee Dee Vernon sample. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the Overkill album. I don't want to put
No, I haven't. Not the new one.
It's really, really heavy, man. Really, really heavy. And I always endorse and push Overkill. That's me and Overkill.
That's like New York. That's like tri-state home cooking Overkill. I mean, they're like they're I don't say New York. They're like a New York City fan favorite, you know.
Well, when they play New Jersey, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, they're really Jersey guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're Jersey guys, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, and it's very sweaty. That's all I can tell you.
Let me ask you, what inspired you to finally commit the pen to paper and after all these years and write the book?
Well, I have to tell you, I felt that it was time. I felt that it was time. There were a lot of stories. I was starting to get them all. In fact, I forgot quite a few great ones, like this Overkill fight. How do you forget that? or how do you forget some of the other things I mentioned in your interview today? You know, but I did. And I wanted that to happen. Now, also, I feel that Marsha, who was alive at the time, is so misquoted and so misunderstood and is a woman in the business that I really wanted to give a testament to just how wonderful and great she was as a woman, as a wife, as a business partner, as everything. I just wanted to pay homage to her, and the book was the only way I knew how to do it. So you had the Marsha story, the stories, and anything that I wanted to set straight. And I just felt the hankering to just do it. You know, that's basically why anybody writes a book, I think, except for the love story between him and his wife.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, everybody out there, the book is a great read. If we are all lovers of this heavy and hard music. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great read, and it's an easy read too. You speak our language. It's an easy read. It's
It's in
good.
Bronxese. I call it Bronxese.
Yes.
If you really want to hear Bronxese, get the audio. It's less than the book, I think. But
I didn't even know there's an audio. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's told in the manner of the way I speak, which is, as I say, Bronxese, and it's very, very easy to digest.
Yeah.
I could imagine a person who was an actor doing my voice. Could you imagine Metallica?
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? We're talking about Marsha and her contributions, and I love this photo. This is a really nice photo.
That's James and Marsha.
Yeah, it's a great shot, man. Great shot.
You notice she's wearing a Kill 'Em All blouse.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's in honor of Kill 'Em All, the red, black, and white.
Chris Hoffman says,
By the way, in the corner under the Metallica banner.
Yeah, let me guess. Is that what's his name's dad? Is that
Cliff's dad?
Cliff's dad. I recognize him. Cliff's dad. Right. Right.
That was a fun day.
Somebody just posted, is that Cliff's dad behind James? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Ray Burton.
Correct.
God, it's good to have knowledgeable friggin' fans, man.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
Good shit. Hey, Steven, you out there? Let me see. Steven.
He left us.
Yeah. Yeah, when he's working, it comes and it goes. Let's take another question or two. Anybody out there, please repost those questions. For Johnny Z, let's do 1 or 2 more as we head down the home stretch. I like this. Hold on. I like this shot too. Representing the agnostic. I like this one, representing agnostic front down in Florida.
That, by the way, is me and Demolition Man.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Chuck Billy's boat from the band Testament, and we're floating in Discovery Bay, which is in his backyard.
Wow.
And he's the driver of the boat.
That's something we haven't talked about. Let's touch on Testament. I know he wrote the foreword to your book.
Yes, Chuck wrote the foreword.
Can we just touch on Testament for a minute and your long-standing relationship with them?
Well, first of all, I blame this one on Metal Maria.
There you go.
Metal Maria Ferrero, Adrenaline PR, I think one of the greatest PR people I know and will ever know, and who is. And Maria basically introduced us to Testament, literally broke Testament over our heads. Because we weren't, we didn't want to sign a band that sounded too much like Metallica in those days. And yes, they did, to me. But it was, although I had a little trouble, I think, with vocals and Testament. So when Zetro went off, who was the singer, now sings for Exodus,
mm-hmm.
and they put Chuck in, Maria insisted that they do a new video cassette.
Mm-hmm.
Cassette. It's hard to find that word.
Yep.
And sent it to me. Well, lo and behold, I liked it very much. It had the difference that I thought I needed, but the band's playing was phenomenal. The guitar work was, everything about it was wonderful. So we decided to go to San Francisco and go meet them and go have them audition. We actually had them audition for Megaforce.
Wow.
And we get there And the story is, of course, in the book, it's the night that Cliff passed away.
Ooh.
So that's a whole story itself. But the Testament story was basically that it was brought to me by Maria, B, one of the most successful bands we ever had. I have many, many Testament stories. One of my most successful bands. And today are truly legendary and doing fantastic.
Yeah.
So we were right for 30 years. We were right.
They've stood the test of time.
It stands the test of time. Overkill stands the test of time.
Yep.
TT Quick never made it big, but they stand more than the test of time. Metallica, test of time. He's really a test of time. King Dex, still going strong.
Yep.
You know?
Here's
So anyway,
we're gonna wrap it up. I know you're a busy guy. This is I gotta ask this question. Ryan asks, is there a band that Johnny regrets not signing or doing business with? Was there someone that you loved, that you wanted, and they were elusive?
well, what you have to realize is besides being involved with the record label, Marsha and I had a management company.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the bands we managed was Ministry in the 90s of 1991, 1990, all the way through about 5.5 years. And when we managed Ministry, we sold from 300,000 records. They went to 3 million records.
Wow.
You know, we got them on Lollapalooza too, and all these things. But to answer your question, believe it or not, it was Michael Lago who came to me with a band that I didn't represent because I felt the character was too much like Al Jorgensen, and have lived to regret it till this time. And the name of the band is Rob Zombie.
Wow.
White Zombie came to me through Michael Lago to be worked by Craze Management, our management company.
Wow.
And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I was so involved with Al, and I didn't want to take away a thing what I was doing with Al.
Wow, that's heavy.
We also turned down Pantera, for all you know.
Ah!
No Oz.
You can't do everything, man, right?
You can't do everything.
Yeah.
I can't do everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I didn't love Pantera.
Well, here's a little clarification. Brooklyn Boy says, has John ever thought of signing Suicidal Tendencies? John worked with Suicidal Tendencies.
Yes,
right, John?
I worked with the guys when they had Rob Trujillo, and Mike Clark and Junior and
Mike Clark, right?
Yeah, I said Mike. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And basically, of course, you're, one of the greatest performers ever. But I got sick during that time, and things got a little weird. And also, I was asked to manage Infectious Grooves at the time. So this is which was also Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah.
In part. And things were very crazy with Epic Records, who had the band, and just I wasn't well. And just that brought to a shady, sad ending. And today I see Mike and we give each other hugs and kisses, man, Mm-hmm. But they were always signed to a label, A, so I couldn't sign them to a label. And B, when they were open for management, I sure did manage them. And Black Hammer's Revolution, the name of that name is mine. I came up with that. The shoot in the movie theater up there,
mm-hmm.
That's, if you see a little dark space behind Muir,
Uh-huh.
I'm standing in that darkness. I was so close to it. All the shots behind the fences and everything in the shipyard. Very close relationship with them. Enough said.
That record, the video from that record, "Give Me Your Money," was shot at 3G's stage here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. At the time, I was the stage manager. I was the liaison. I was the stage manager in the film studio. That was my day job. And I dealt with the production company and found out, oh, wow, Suicidal Tendencies is coming onto the stage to shoot. So they come on and they did that video on the stage. And I got a chance to talk to Mike Muir and, Rocky. And it was
Rocky.
It was great, man. It was great. Yep, absolutely. Hey, Steven.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you got anything for Johnny Z?
I was in the tunnel when I could see you, but you couldn't see me.
Okay,
So,
well, I see you now. What do you got?
Well, you know what? I asked a little bit before the show started. One of the bands that you haven't really touched on, which is Manowar. And if you give me a good Manowar story, if you could.
Well, there are all kinds of Manowar stories. The first one being that contracts were signed in blood. I don't know if you all know that. I don't even know if I put that in the book or not. I don't remember. But they did sign it in blood. They even had a nurse there in case one of them fainted, the poor boys. But they did sign it in blood. But my favorite Manowar story was the song they did called Valhalla off of Into Glory Ride. One of my favorite songs I've ever heard in my days. And Eric Adams' voice on Valhalla really blew my mind. And the band really blew my mind playing Valhalla. What a great song. Joey knew this. Joey DeMeo, for those who don't know, is the bass player of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey and Ross go, Johnny, come up here. And we were at the Paramount Theater for the World War III show. And Joey has me sit on Scott Columbus's drum riser. And I sit on the drum riser, and they go, just for you, John, we're going to play Valhalla. And let me tell you something. They all surrounded me on stage. They played Valhalla for me. That was one of the best times I've had in all my musical days.
That's awesome.
That's a Manowar story, yes?
Absolutely. Just tremendous. Probably one of the best bass players and vocalists out there, especially at the time. And I love them from like the first, all the Ross the Boss era, and then some of the stuff afterwards as well. But while I was over in Greece and in Germany, they were on their farewell tour playing these enormous places. And
they're loved. Manowar is loved in Greece.
Oh my God, yeah, and it was just a shame that over in America, they play, the normal size venues, but once they left America, they were treated, like metal gods. And
I know the story well. God bless them.
Oh, you know who just dropped me a line? I think is that Igor from Sepultura said that we toured with Ministry at that time. I guess Sepultura
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, Igor just sent me a message that from London, all the way from London, that he had to let us know that. Steven, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Oh wait, you know what? Hey, Steven, real quick, I
Yes.
have a picture that you sent of one of Johnny's acts that you took. This is Venom Inc., right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Venom Inc. That is at St. Vitus. That was Venom Inc. and Goat Whore.
There you go.
At St. Vitus. What a great show that was. I love that Venom Inc. record. I think they really it's just the sound of it, and they modernized a little bit, yet they stayed like, I thought this was a great record, and the shows were great too. I saw them twice at that point.
I'll tell you, we all can't wait for the new one.
I'm telling, absolutely. I love that song Black and Roll. where they name
Oh, yeah.
check like the whole history of heavy music in that song. Is great. They literally name like every band that they love in that song, and it's so good. So good. But Johnny, just honestly, it really is an honor, and like the teenage me is like in awe that we're even speaking right now. So it really means a lot, and I'm truly grateful for everything that you've done like over the years, and I'm a proud owner of like all the early Megaforce stuff, and it's all in plastic in perfect shape, and no one's allowed to touch it.
Our Music for Nations, though.
I have that too, believe me. As we said, but again, thank you so much, and nothing
You're
but
quite
the best
welcome,
to you, man.
Stephen.
We'll talk to you soon, Stephen.
Absolutely.
Okay. How about that? You know what I got to ask? Chucky Brown, who's our resident historian. This has come up a couple times, and I've sort of Drew, ask him about the metal rap song.
Drew, ask him about the metal rap song.
The Lone Ranger.
Well, I was drinking. I was drinking, and I said to myself, before Black and Roll came out, way before, there is no history of heavy metal. And somebody should tell the story. For those who don't know about metal rap, it starts off with me talking about the Cream to Led Zeppelin to this, to that, the Blue Cheer, and it's the whole history of heavy metal. If you want to know the truth, Mike and everybody, it's really a pile of shite. But it's really terrible. But the lyrics, I think, are great. If you listen to the lyrics, and those lyrics are really wonderful. And it does tell the whole history of heavy metal getting up to modern day and ages. When I say modern day, I'm talking up to 85.
Right.
Was the song was written by then and out. It sold a few thousand records, which was very nice. But it was done basically with my daughter Ricky and a bunch of kids singing in the background the chorus of Steel. And the Rods were one of the best bands.
Now we're going deep. The Rods.
Rods were my backup band.
Yep.
And it was produced by Carl Kennedy, the drummer of the Rods, who produced the early Anthrax stuff.
Wow.
When I played it to Metallica when they first came back from England, they thought I was a madman far beyond my years.
They thought you absolutely lost it.
But thank you, Mike. He said to me just now that this record came out way before I'm the Man.
Yeah.
This is like the first pop, boom, pop, really big drum, heavy guitar sounding rap song that ever came out. And I wanted to do that too. I wanted to be the first. I know you had Walk This Way, but that really didn't sting for metal. I thought the Lone Ranger name basically was the Ranger fighting.
The producer was Kennedy?
Yes.
He's related to Ronnie James Dio, right?
No, that's Rob Feinstein, the guitar player.
Got it. Okay.
It's okay. Kennedy's related to himself, which is enough.
Yep.
They're Carl Kennedy. By the way, one of the nicest people you're ever going to want to meet, Carl Kennedy. Highly recommend him to produce your album. Anyway, that's basically the Lone Ranger. I put it out. I made a fool of myself, and I sold 7,000. And here we are today. There are none anymore to be found.
Got it. Johnny, I want to thank you a million for coming on the show. It was really special, meant a lot to me and a lot and to our people. I just want to put up a last photo and just want to say, like, really from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you and of course Marsha for for everything that you guys did for us, man.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the pictures of Marsha. She appreciates them, I'm sure, very much, Drew.
Yeah. Anybody you want to shout out on the way out? Thank anybody?
The shout out on the way out?
I mean, do you want anybody you need to mention?
Yes, one person today. My daughter, Ricky Lee, who makes this so possible for me to get around and to do what I have to do. I just want to thank her personally today because I never get a chance to do it on any of these. And you gave me an opening. I have two other beautiful daughters, but I just wanted to thank Ricky for just being there for me. So
fantastic. And Ryan says, this is the best show you've ever done, Drew. Peace, Johnny, and thank you.
Peace.
Johnny, what a fucking dude. Great show. Listen, thank you so much. I'll look you up when I'm down in Florida when I'm visiting my dad. Maybe we'll sit on the porch by the pool and we'll shoot the shit.
And roll.
Thank you, man. Love you, bro.
All right, man. Take care. You have
care.
to take me out because I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, I'll see you later.
Peace.
Well, there you go. You asked for it, you got it, right? Man, what a great show. Really, really, what an honor, man. That was really, really an honor, Damn, I love doing this sometimes. This is just one of those shows. It was just really great. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, you got more than you asked for, did you? All right, good. I'm glad. Every once in a while we hit an upper deck home run, and today was one of them. Alago, thank you. I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon. Teresa, thank you for hanging in there. And thank you all for making this an interactive show. That's what makes this show special. We do a live interactive show. It's really all of us in this, I'm just channeling it, So Rat Bones, is that right? You're gonna go listen to Leatherwolf after this? That's cool. Thank you, Bobby. It was great. Joe Frank, thank you. We nailed it. Good. So listen, we'll see everybody on Wednesday. With who's on Wednesday again? Chris Reese from Social Distortion. So thanks a lot. Tears of Joy today. All right, we brought you Tears of Joy. That's good. Not that you cry, but it's good. It's an emotional show. Bring out emotion in people. That's important in this life. Don't be afraid to tell someone that you love them. Do it. Do it tonight. All right? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right? I don't want to get heavy with you. I love you all. Until then, do good things, and good things will come to you.